All right, so welcome FemTalks Mastermind ladies. This call was designed and created for women who are FemTalks speakers or members of the FemTalks Mastermind. And we're so happy to have you here. This is a topic that keeps coming up. You know, I know that women, whether they're playing at they're newer to business or they're playing at the six-figure level or the seven-figure level, like coming back to what is it that you say when you're giving a workshop presentation or a talk to invite people into the next natural step to working with you so they can do deep work with you. What do you want to say? What do you not want to say? How do you make that invitation? So we're going to get into some of that today. I'm going to give my wonderful facilitator, guest facilitator that we have with us today, a warm introduction, and then I'll let him introduce himself. But we're really honored to have Jon Block with us. So Jon is, he has spoken on over 300 stages. He's shared the stage with some of the biggest leaders in the entrepreneur and human potential movement. He was named #1 of the top 20 conscious entrepreneurs of 2013. And some of you may know Charlotte and Jesse from Thrive Academy. Jesse Koren wrote about Jon. Jon cares so much about making a difference for people. He is willing to risk anything. He's an incredible man. And I would speak to that as well. I know Jon personally. We got to talking and I was like, you need to come talk to my speakers. So just a really warm-hearted entrepreneur, heart-centered entrepreneur, and I would say also heart-centered man. So I'll let him tell you a little bit more about himself. We are here today to talk about how to make hot offers from the stage. We're going to discover the precise structure for making a highly compelling and irresistible offer. Jon, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And I just want to let you know how much I adore you and appreciate you. For the moment we finally met face-to-face at the JV retreat, love your energy. And for me, it was just such an immediate yes when you asked me to join your community. And I really hold this as a sacred container. I know that anytime you get people together who are bonded by something as powerful as the feminine energy, woman entrepreneurship, it's a real sacred container that you've created. And I don't take it lightly, the fact that I am, as you might have guessed, a man in your space. And I really am honored to be here with you. And to me, this is so much of the evolution of human consciousness, and awakening will be through conversations like these where we can come together and share our viewpoints and really flourish together and rise up as one. So I'm really excited about today. So I'm clear on time, Jessica. We have until top of the hour. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, including Q&A. Great. So we'll be covering making offers from stage today. And this is one of my very, very favorite topics. I'm not going to delve too much into my personal story because I want to maximize the amount of time I can engage with you guys on this topic. But I will say that I've made every possible mistake you can make when you're making an offer from stage. First off, just to get us all on the same page, when we're talking about making offers, this is at the end of a presentation, whether it's a free event where people have just seen you speak for the very first time. It's the introduction to you. You deliver your signature talk, and you've delivered your personal story, your content, and now this is the invitation to work with you on an ongoing basis. That's one scenario. The other scenario is that they've already paid to work with you, and they might be at, say, a workshop or a live event, and now you are upgrading them. I'm not a big fan of the term upselling, as we'll get into further, but you're upgrading them to the next level. So those are really the two main scenarios of making offers. And I've made every possible mistake you can possibly make with these. I remember when I started, I came from this very hard masculine approach, because that's what I'd seen other people do. And I thought, well, that's what you got to do to be successful with it. And I remember making offers when I first started. It was for an $850 mastermind. And I remember the awkwardness with which people stared at me because they had no intention of registering for my thing at all. And how I had the forms out there. And they just would stare at the forms, not because they were interested in signing up, but just to avoid the awkward eye contact with me, right? I remember those early days so vividly. And then thinking, well, there's just something wrong with me. And then I shouldn't even be making offers from stage at all. And when I did make an offer, then I'd go the opposite extreme and say, well, here's a stack of business cards. You can grab one if you like, but no pressure. The last thing I want to do is make you feel uncomfortable. And thankfully, I had a massive breakthrough around this and found a way that is authentic to me. And I've made hundreds of offers by this point. I've made one offer that's earned over $150,000 from stage. That's with the larger group, with say 90 people in the room. Then I made an offer with just 5 people. Is at a dinner mastermind and generate $20,000 in revenue. So whether it's a small group or a large group, what I know from firsthand experience is that there's a way to do it in such an authentic, natural way that really honors you, your true essence, and the people you're here to serve, and makes it as easy as possible for them to say yes to working with you. And trust me, if I can do it, then there's no doubt in my mind that you can do it as well. So what we'll be covering today is the precise structure for making an offer. And before we dive into that, hello, Jill Lublin. Great to see you. Before we do that, I think it's very important to first distinguish what makes an offer not hot. For you to first consider when you see an offer from stage and it just repulses you, or that'd be probably the extreme version of it, or you don't resonate with it, it falls flat for some reason. Why is that? And this might be the first time you've ever really considered this. So I invite you just to take a few moments and jot down what is happening or not happening in an offer such that it falls flat or just turns you off altogether. So I'll give you about a minute to jot that down right now. So Jessica, if we want to take a few shares, what's the easiest way to do that? We'll start by unmuting you. Jessica, we can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I unmuted everyone else, but I muted myself. Yeah, I think we can just do a free for all. I unmuted everyone. Since we got so many women on the phone, we'll just do it. We'll just field.
Right. So let's just do this for, if you could just say your name and just share. What is it about offers that turn you off or fall flat? Would like to share?
This is Sia. So I'm thinking of one where I really wasn't clear what she was offering, and the dollar amount went from this really high thousands of dollars down to a couple hundred, and it's like, wow. So that didn't entice me at all.
Yeah, so it made you question the integrity a bit, it sounds like, and the true value.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a common thing. And what Sia is referring to is a common thing where people are making offers from stage, and either they're saying what the value of this is, or here's what the regular price is, and now here's your discounted at seminar special, it's frequently called. And the juxtaposition can be so strong that it just feels like a sales technique, and the trust really can get broken. I think that's a great specific one to point out, Sia. Let's take one or two more.
This is Valerie. I think when somebody promises to give something in a talk and then they don't actually really give you very much in that talk, but then they want to sell you more. And then I worry, okay, they're going to sell me a lot more, but they're really not going to deliver that. And then they're going to try to sell me more. So I really want to feel like I got something from the talk that makes me want more.
Absolutely. Because if you didn't get great value from the talk, why on earth would you get great value for what comes after the talk? Right. And the whole thing kind of has the ring of a sales presentation. Is that right? More than an actual workshop?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really good point. And I think that tendency is what stops people from showing up to the events that we're hosting, which obviously are not like that and really value-packed, content-rich, and because people can have these negative experiences and they'll taint them further. So I think this is a great thing to illuminate this tendency. Anyone else like to share?
Yeah, this is Riata. I'm just thinking of, pie in the sky kind of offers where it's unrealistic what they're promising you.
Oh, meaning the outcome, what they say is like, you're going to 10 times your business within the first 2 weeks.
Right.
Into outcomes.
Right. Right. And it doesn't speak to me. It doesn't seem real. I can't identify.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because you can tell that they're really there for the close, which is another term I'm not a fan of, where that's the sole intention, right? Say whatever they got to say to make the close. Right.
Right.
Good. Those are really great examples. One reason I love being with this group. It's just a high vibration, savvy audience. So now we're going to turn this the other way. And the next question will be around, how do you love offers being made to you? Now, before you dive into that, let me just say this. It's absolutely essential that you love offers being made to you. At the very least, be open to offers being made to you. Because what we have to approach this from is a place of alignment, really, alignment and congruency. So if you want people to love your offers, then you have to love offers being made to you. That's just a fact. And I see people struggle who want to be successful making offers from stage, but then they have this thing about, oh, here comes a sales pitch and all that, right? Now, if it's done poorly, as in some of the ways we just discussed, I'm right there with you. However, on principle, we cannot have this negative association with offers being made. We must, I believe, embrace it, be excited for it. Even in the bad ones, frankly, we can learn from it. But the really good ones, we have to really honor them and have a respect and an openness and a willingness to see if this is the right thing for us. And it may or may not be, but just be willing to see if this is the right thing for us. So having said that, now consider what is happening when you love offers being made to you, where it just inspires you, and you may not end up buying, right? But you just look at it and you think, wow, what a really great offer, okay? Well-crafted, the way of being, whatever it is for you. Just go ahead and take about 30 seconds to a minute to write that down now, please. All right, let's take a few shares on this one. Who would like to share what you wrote down?
I like, this is Jessica. I really like when an offer, when I'm witnessing an offer that's really talking about, like speaking to me about like where I want to go versus like all fear-based, like and what I'm trying to get away from. I mean, I get that I do need to be present to maybe what's not working, how whatever's being offered can remedy that. But I personally respond to like what feels like an invitation to step up, to be something greater, or, you know, to kind of further my calling or depth or whatever it is, you know, in whatever category.
So this inspiring call to this next chapter of your life, right?
Yeah.
Versus the more shaming model. I remember seeing an offer made one time where the offer had not gone well, and there's about 300 people in the room, and there was about less than 10 who were actually signing up. And the guy says to us, those people in the back are doabies. The rest of you are wannabes. You want to stay a wannabe, stay in your seats. But those people are doabies. You a wannabe or a doabie? And I thought, whatever slim chance you had of my signing up with you just got obliterated by you saying that. And I talked with others who felt the same way. And this is actually a course on how to sell from stage, ironically enough, too. So completely agree. It's an older paradigm, and it just doesn't speak to people's heart and nearly as much, or at all, really. Let's take one or two more shares. What about offers you love? Let's hear about them.
This is Amanda. And hi, I love offers that come from after a really yummy, juicy experience. And it just feels like, well, this is the next step. You know, if you really want more of this and to take a deeper, a clear next step, and it's priced based on, you know, how deep did we go in this time? Like, so if it was a 1 hour, then it should be probably a few $100 or less. And it's a clear next piece to where we already got to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a thoughtfulness in how it's constructed, where there is a flow and what's a natural next step for a relationship. I agree. And
yeah,
typically,
it's a journey.
Right. And typically when someone's selling from stage, the conventional wisdom is that $9.97 is the most you can do from a 1 hour presentation. I think it's probably closer to $4.97 if you really want to do well with it nowadays. And I think that speaks to the wisdom of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Would anyone else like to share?
But Riata again, just want to give someone else a chance. That's why the pause. But I'm someone that really likes offers. I listen to them because I'm wanting someone to inspire me. And when they really come from enthusiasm, personal experience, and it's heartfelt, and I close my eyes and I can feel into that, that feels exciting to me. Whether I sign up or not, that's exciting to me.
Mm-hmm. There is a magic to it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And there should be, because that's what's promised to you. That's what you're up to, is to create a whole new possibility for something that's never happened before. So then the offer has to really tap into that same energy. If you can't tap into during the offer, then it probably stands to reason it won't happen after the offer once you start working together. So here's what I invite you guys to do right now. Taking what you just wrote down regarding how I love offers being made to me, go ahead and write these words above it and underline these words. There's either 4 words. How I make offers. Okay? Put that as a header above what you just wrote. How I make offers.
Mm.
Okay.
You just gotten a deep insight into your true essence when it comes to how you're meant to make offers from stage. What will make you unique from everyone else, what will feel the most aligned for you, and what your audience will feel the most aligned to receive. Okay? You just had some key bullet points that are there in every single offer that you guys make. And there's more that can be said about this, and I want to move on now to the structure of the offer. So with the structure of your offer, and this is something that we cover at length when I work with people on an ongoing basis, whether at our 3-day speaker venture live events or through one-on-one work, and I'm going to give you an overview right now, since that's the time that we have. An offer structure really has 4 stages. The first stage, and this is a combination, guys, by the way, of what I was mentored in, having taken many speaker trainings, and then taking the best parts of that as it applied to my own school of hard knocks, real life experiences from bombing, getting back up, doing it again, bombing some more, doing it again. And this is what I've conceived of that has worked effectively for me time and time again. And that works for our speaker venture clients who come in, and when they apply these stages, it works for them every time. We have people who are able to get, say, in a smaller room, if there's 8 to 10 people in the audience, they will get 100% of the people in this room to sign up. If it's more than that, then they'll get 50% to 75% of the people to sign up. It's when they're following these 4 stages. Anytime someone has an offer that bombs, this is the first place we go. Like, which of these 4 stages did you skip? And invariably, they skipped 1 or 2 of these stages. So here are the 4 stages. The first one is that we must establish the gap between pain and pleasure island. So pain and pleasure island is a metaphor that we use a lot in my work, where pain island is where your clients are without you, and if they never work with you, how is their life going to be? So let's say you work in the health niche. Then someone who does not work with you will continue to have this physical ailment. They'll have the chronic pain and fatigue and exhaustion. And the long-term repercussions of that is they will not get to have the life that they want to have, whether it's with their business or their families. All that potential will not get realized. So the costs are really astronomical. And it's the same principle really for any niche that you're in, whether it's like relationships or certainly in the business niche. Anytime you're empowering people and their pain island is really, really life-alteringly bad. Okay? And we don't say this from a manipulative standpoint at all. Rather, it's our job to be straight with people, to be direct but not pushy. And it's absolutely essential that everyone, especially you guys who are up to such incredible things in the world, have to get the difference between being direct and being pushy. And for anyone who's unclear what the difference is, think about the opposites of both of those. The opposite of direct is being around the bush. And the opposite of being pushy is someone who truly cares. So if you look at their opposites, beating around the bush and truly caring, they got nothing to do with each other. So that should be an indication that direct and pushy have nothing to do with each other as well. Okay? Personally, I can't stand it when people beat around the bush. I crave directness in my communication with people, and that's how you're being with your audience. So back to the stage 1, you're establishing the gap between pain island and pleasure island. Again, pain island is how their life will be if they do not work with you, or rather have any ongoing support beyond today. Again, this is about 45 minutes into a 1-hour presentation, okay? And if it's a 1-hour presentation, it'll be 45 minutes into it. And this is if they do not get ongoing support, if they just leave the room and don't ever get specialized support in this area, that's what pain island is. And it's our job to make that as clear as possible to them. We contrast that with pleasure island, which is if you do get support after today, then here's how your life will be forever transformed. So to use that health niche example, imagine then if instead of being drained energetically and the chronic pain and not being able to live your fullest life, instead you could feel vibrant every single morning, devote yourself to your business in a much bigger way, and be able to quadruple your income over time in ways that you simply could not if you did not get your health aligned. Right? That's an example of what pain and pleasure island sound like. The first mistake that people make with this, apart from skipping this stage altogether, is they do not make the gap clear or compelling enough. Right? And the reality is that this is your whole value proposition, guys. The gap between pain island and pleasure island. This is the reason that you and your business effectively exist for your people, is to solve this gap, to get them from pain island to pleasure island. So the bigger the gap and the more clearly it's communicated, the more you get paid, okay? And the more higher volume of clients want to work with you. If we are anything short of that, then we'll have fewer clients want to work with us and we can charge them less because we're solving a smaller problem for them. So that's the first thing, is that we have to establish the gap between pain island and pleasure island. Next is you share about your package. That's our stage 2. So this model, just so it's clear, is used for when you're driving people towards what we call magic sessions. Everyone else calls them strategy sessions or free consultations. This is this structure. If you are making a paid offer from stage, it'll be slightly different, and we can probably address that during Q&A if you want to ask specifically about that. But this model is for one-on-one sessions in which you would be selling a paid package to them. So after you've established the gap between pain and pleasure island, that's stage one. Stage two is you share about your package. So if you think of the metaphor, pain and pleasure island, you've established that first. Well, the next thing you would logically say is, how would you like to take my boat ride that gets you from pain island to pleasure island? And that's what your package is. It's the boat, okay, which makes you the captain of the boat. So when you share about this package, what needs to happen is the same way you might share about your child or something that you are just incredibly proud of. Every time you even think about it, your face lights up. You are passionate, completely on purpose with your commitment to it. That's how you must talk about your package. This is in stark contrast to how some people talk about their package, which is almost like, I don't want to even bother you with this package. I guess I have to because my business depends upon it. But this is their salesiness, the wonky energy kind of gets mixed up with that. And we have to separate that out, okay? Rather just think of it like this creation that you birth into the world, you know? Whether it's like, I have a film background, so I think of it, if I had directed a movie, I'd be so excited after all that work to finally bring it out to the world, right? It's the same thing, or your book or something like that. Well, your package, whether it's a live event or your one-on-one coaching that you're offering, that's how excited you must be. And you're sharing about your package using 3 key bullet points, and oftentimes these are the same 3 key things that you covered in your content. So to use the health niche, you could say, first thing you must create is a nutritional plan. Then you must get an accountability and commit to it. The third thing is, can't think of a good third thing right now, but you get my point. Then those would be the same 3 things that your package would be offering inside of that. And I'm not going to go too much further than that. If you have a question on that, we can dive further into Q&A. But that's what you would want your package to be, is to have the 3 hottest bullet points that you'd be offering. And you do not say the price of this because you're not selling it from stage. You just want to entice your people. The reason this is so important is because as we move on to stage 3, which is invite them into your one-on-one session, what we do not want is a bunch of tire kickers who have no interest in actually investing in your package, but are saying yes just because you invite them to a one-on-one session, okay? So to recap thus far, we said stage 1 is establish a gap between pain island and pleasure island. Stage 2 is to share about your package. And stage 3 is to invite into a one-on-one session. So just consider that if you skip stage 2 and went from established gap between pain island and pleasure island, and then went straight into invite into a one-on-one session, then you've told them about the value and how they don't want to stay stuck and what's possible for them, and then say, I'm giving away free coaching sessions, basically, right? Free strategy sessions, and sign up for everyone who wants one. And when you're just starting out and there might be some discomfort around one-on-one, we call them magic sessions, and you want to be more comfortable with your enrollment, then yeah, do as many as possible. My sense is that there's at least some of you who are past that point and your time is a very high priority, in which case we have to honor that time as much as possible. And the way we do that is by calling forth only qualified people who are truly interested in your package. And so at the very least, this means foreground your package in stage 2, talk about how amazing it is. And when you invite them into the one-on-one session, it's because they're genuinely interested in learning about the package, right? There's value they're going to get, and you're going to explore the package. And if it's the right fit, they'll have the opportunity to invest with you. Okay? Again, it's about being direct, not being pushy. And then the next thing is that we move into the call to action. That is stage 4. And that's just from a logistical standpoint, what does it look like? If it's a webinar, having an online calendar, telling people to go straight there, having your logistics sorted out. If it's in person, then you could have a clipboard going around if it's a smaller audience, or a back table. A note specifically about what's on the clipboard or what's on the back table. You want to have your calendar pre-printed. So for instance, Monday at 12, Monday at 3, Tuesday at 9 a.m., and have the contact information they can input as they select their time slots right then and there, okay? This is so worth emphasizing because I see so many people not do this, and so much money gets lost, and more importantly, transformation doesn't get realized. We have to get them in the calendar while they're still there. Do not pass around a fishbowl and have people drop their business cards into it and then have to do the email ring around the rosy dance with them afterwards. If you're like me, you've probably done that before and known that that's not exactly a high use of your time, not a very enjoyable expression of like why you're on this planet. So we want to get them in the calendar right then and there, and then you want to send them an email afterwards to follow up. Okay, so I think we have time for some questions. I'd love to open it up to you guys. So who would like to ask something?
And I've unmuted everyone, so you can just say your name and just call out your question. Take advantage of Jon.
Hey, Jon, I'll ask a question.
Okay, who's this?
It's Jill. Hi.
Hey, Jill.
So thank you. Always great information from you. I appreciate you. I wanted to ask, because I'm at the Make an Offer from Stage. I don't actually invite people to do sessions with me. So
Right.
I ask about that. And, you know, I've thought about whether I should do the sessions from Stage, and I do occasionally do that, the complimentary sessions. But let's just, if I may, ask you about the offer literally from Stage. And what do you recommend? And my time can go anywhere between 20 minutes to, 90.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the structure of the offer. I want to know what would serve you the most right now, Jill. Is it the structure of the offer when it's paid, and not so much what to offer, what's the price point, correct?
Yeah, let's do structure. And that pain to pleasure thing was really interesting to me, and maybe delving a little deeper on that, because I don't know that I do that enough, to be honest.
Yeah, so that part doesn't change. Whether it's a paid offer or a free offer, that has to be stage one. We have to get people present to the cost of not taking action. Because, and I think this is an obvious point, but it's one of those that can't be stated often enough. There is such a fundamental inertia with people that if that wasn't there, they would have transformed this issue already. But clearly they haven't. That's why they're there. So it's our job to really cause action to occur. And the way we do that is not through subtlety or humility in this regard. It's by being really straight and honest with people. So that first stage never changes. We have to establish a gap between Pain Island and Pleasure Island. Let them know in the juiciest, most specific details. So this would be a good exercise for you, Jill, and for everyone, is write out your Pain Island and Pleasure Island with your people, right? In specific context with your offer. What happens if they do not get specialized support in this area? And I like to say specialized support more than working with you, because it ain't about you. It's about them. So if they don't get specialized support in this area, what's going to be the cost to them, both in their outer world and their inner world? So outer world, I know you work with entrepreneurs, Jill, so this will be around, obviously, their income and the amount of lives that they can reach and all that. I would also say their inner world, we always want to hit upon too, which in this case can be the sense that their next level is not getting realized, the frustration of staying stuck and stagnant, that there's all this potential that is just dying inside of them, okay? That's the kind of languaging that I've noticed tends to get people's attention. So you want to color in your specifics. I just said it in a very broad sense. You want to get specific with your people, with Pain Island, and then do the opposite of Pleasure Island. Typically, you would create Pain Island first, and then just say the opposite things for Pleasure Island. Okay. So just to touch upon the structure a bit further, and I'd love to see if anyone else has questions. After you've done that, Jill, then you'll introduce your package, right? You'll basically skip stage 3, right? In which you're inviting them to a one-on-one session, obviously, and you go straight to the call of action. So it would be established gap between Pain and Pleasure Island, share about your package, and then call to action. Now, the phase of the stage share about your package has sub-stages. So I'll just give a quick overview of that. That would entail you getting the features part out of the way typically in terms of like what it is, and then discussing the benefits of it. So you might be saying that what we're going to do is that we're going to have 3 live events. And here's what's extraordinary about each of these live events. At the first event, we're going to, and then you would dive into a little feature, then more benefits. We're going to help you write your book so that you'll have it done and it's no longer going to weigh on you for all these years. When you're going to get the book done, you'll be able to release in the world, and you'll be able to turn on the faucet to bring on all these new potential clients into your lives, right? So you'll be doing like a features, benefits description of your package. And then as we get into the price point, what typically works well is to say what the total value of this package is, which cannot be a BS value, as someone very astutely mentioned earlier. Has to be a real value of this package. And value is based on what it means to that person. So when you're speaking to entrepreneurs, it's typically new dollars that can be earned as a result of experiencing this transformation with you. That's the value, right? But you can quantify value many different ways. In the health niche, it could be what they would normally have to spend on additional medicine and surgeries and all that they could avoid through working with you. All that's part of the value too. Okay, then when you state the value clearly, then you will contrast that with the actual investment. And typically there would be some justification around this investment where there is an initial like, wow, that sounds really great. And then you would stack a few bonuses and then give the final price after that. So I'll just quickly sum that up. You would describe the package, say the value first, then say what the actual price is, then stack some bonuses, and then drop it once more. And then that's usually where the right people will know it's for them at that point, which is really the whole point of this. Is that useful, Jill?
Yes, thank you so much, John. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome, dear. Great to have you.
Great to see you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else have a question?
Yeah, that was awesome. I was taking furious notes, and I remembered I could go back and listen to this. But I'm glad I took furious notes.
I have a question, because I know this is a dynamic that we talked about. This is Amanda. In some of the speaker calls, is that a lot of people are kind of getting tired of the free consultation thing, because they feel like they're just going to get sold something. And in a way, I get that it's like, well, if people aren't seriously interested in talking to us about working with us, then that's a good process of elimination. And there's been a lot of sharing of the efficacy of putting together a little package that includes that consultation, so it's a little bit different and feels more unique to the person offering it. So like for me, I offer, there's a guided journey, there's a book, and the consultation with me. I still qualify it like, let's not sign up unless you're really serious about exploring working together. But I was recently kind of inspired to do like maybe a half-day event that's almost like basically an enrollment call with everybody. So take them through the same visualization of what you want, what are the blocks, how could my program get you there, and then also going deeper into some of the pieces that I would like all of my clients to know, so that they can make a more inspired and empowered decision to work with me, that I can't get to when I'm in my talk. And so I was just curious of what you thought about that.
Okay, so there's a lot you covered there, and I appreciate how you're on the leading edge here. How can we do things differently that really stands out and provides greater value to people? Could you restate your question, Amanda? What exactly do you want me to respond to?
Yeah, I'm just curious what you think about the process of offering, $47 or $97, come to a half-day event where it's basically the enrollment process, plus all of the helpful information that if people knew, they'd be more likely to say yes to working on a bigger program with me. So what do you think about that, and how would that change how you do the offer?
Okay. So the first thing to ask yourself is, does that work for your sales cycle? So I remember I was doing the scholarship model, which you've all seen, the 2 or 3 day event, and you do a few times a year, and then you're doing like a $97 seat deposit, getting as many people in the room as possible, and you're making offers throughout the weekend. So Peak Potential is the first one to really introduce this with their Millionaire Mind Intensive, and many others do it since then. So that did not work for me in terms of a sales cycle. I did not also, meetings, just to be absolutely clear, go a couple months without any income coming in and just waiting for that event where there was going to be this infusion of cash, theoretically. It created a lot of stress for me. So that's my first hit on your idea of doing a half day. I don't know how often you're thinking to be doing these, but that would be one thing to consider is, does that work in terms of the cash flow situation? Do you want to speak to that real quick?
Well, I mean, I don't hold off on those things. I mean, if I still make those conversations available for people through other things. I'm just, thinking, if I have a really likely, a good demographic that's a good fit for me, why not take them through the enrollment process as a group and make it an experiential thing? I don't know. It just
whoever's
might
crashing
be
around, can they put on mute?
That's a great idea. Thank you for saying that. So, yes, your instinct is definitely sound. So if you can get past this cash flow scenario, then absolutely do it. I mean, that's why Jesse and Charla and many others do this model, because the more time you spend with people, the more they'll buy from you, right? And it just makes sense because the more trust and relationship has been established. And so whatever's going to put you at your best, I would say go for it. Personally, I like the one-on-ones myself, and my issue is bandwidth, right? And so I'm training new people to expand my one-on-one strategy session division, basically, right? That's one of my growing areas. I think that's really just taking excellent care of people. I don't put much stock in like what's the growing trend right now. I think that we lose our own unique essence whenever we say, oh, what's working, what's not working. Rather, just consider how you'd want to be treated yourself. Okay? What would allow you to really feel the most taken care of? For me, I feel really taken care of if someone presents something that's valuable and says, talk with me afterwards. I'm like, yeah, that's like the best. That's what I want to do. Right? So that's one piece, because you mentioned earlier what's the growing trend, and I know a lot of people are doing this, but that's not reason enough to do it. I mean, really just come from a place of how you would most want to be treated. If you feel that you'd really be well served by going to a half-day event, meaning that if you saw a speaker, that's what they're offering, you think, wow, this is awesome, you'd be totally aligned with it. And then if you dug the half day, then you might upgrade to the next level. I would say absolutely, because you're aligned with it. Right? And if you can get past that earlier cash flow issue, which sounds like it's not as much of an issue for you, and you can do these often enough, then I would say go for it. It sounds great.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, you're so welcome. So I know our time is winding down. I'd love to hang out with you guys more and answer any further questions, and I want to be respectful. I know this is in the middle of the day. You have a lot going on, and I know that you either might have more questions that didn't get answered today, or something else just has gone unresolved for you. And on one hand, we could just say whatever you got from today is great, and that's the way it's meant to be. Or we can explore further. So Jessica, would it be all right if I shared a little bit how we can stay in touch?
Sure.
Okay, great. And this will be fun, guys, because you can see me model the offer structure for you. So, as I mentioned, you can just show up on this call and you get what you got. And if it's been valuable for you, then I'm really happy about that, because that to me is my highest commitment, is to really honor your time and your decision to be here. I don't take it lightly. I know Jessica vouched for me, and so it means a lot that you saw fit to show up. But if you don't master really your own way of making an offer that is truly aligned with you, and really have a signature presentation that really flows beautifully into it, then it's possible that the offers will not go as well as they can. In fact, you might have to fall down a few more times, as I did, and painfully get back up and do it again and again before you finally find what works for you best. So that's one way this can go. The alternative is that we shortcut that dramatically, and we get you as fast as possible to the point where you're making hot offers from stage that really convert better than ever before, right? As I've done with many, many people over and over again. But perhaps most importantly, that are really representing your truest essence, that are authentic to you, that feel good, that are not in that older paradigm that we described earlier that doesn't work for us, or in this newer paradigm that you mentioned that is how you are here to make offers, what really aligns most for that. So that's why we created Speaker Venture. So Speaker Venture is my company where we host 3-day live events, and we also do one-on-one coaching in some cases as well. And what happens across this work together is, whether you're in a 3-day event or in one-on-one coaching, the focus will be on your signature presentation. So whether it's honing in on your offer or your personal story or content, at the 3-day live event, we do it all. And if you're feeling you want support with your entire signature presentation, that's the place to come. And I know, Jessica, you do some work around this too, so you have to check in with yourself, you guys, if this is a good asset, contribution to you. What also happens, though, at Speaker Venture is that it is a vibrant community. People come, even though they have the signature talk down, just for the community. And they just want to plug in, have this 3-day live event container where they're sharing stages with one another. That's a big part of it. Booking speaking gigs live in the room on the spot. I think that oftentimes we get caught in our own little bubbles that we live in. And so to unplug from that and get into a room, a speaker family from all over the country who all have stages coming there together, that's one thing I love about it. And you get booked on stages you would not have otherwise. People regularly leave with 2 or more stages you wouldn't have otherwise. And they really make friends for life. I curate at such a high level to make sure that the vibration is high, that people have integrity, and they're really coming from the right place with spreading transformation through their businesses. So that's a bit about the 3-day live events. The alternative, it would be one-on-one work, where we can hone in further on your offer, or if there's some other piece that we didn't get to today around, say, your personal story, or your one-on-one magic session process, for instance, or how to host your own events, or how to book speaking gigs. We also offer one-on-one for that. So to see if this is a fit for you, I'll just share real quick. We've had people who've gone from charging $95 like per session, energy healing, to then earning $28,000 in their very first speaking gig. That's what Audrey did, working with us. There are other people who've broken through that $10,000 per month barrier. That's happened consistently with us. And oftentimes it's just that one tweak that makes all the difference. I don't purport to have the grand solution to fix it, people. That's not who I want to be. But I do love making those tweaks that can take someone who has that greatness and just channel it and bring it to the world in an even more effective way. So if you believe that Speaker Venture might be a fit for you, or you believe that one-on-one support with either myself or one of our coaches might be a fit for you, then the invitation is to have a one-on-one session with me. So this is called a speaker breakthrough session, and it's valued at $500 because we're going to do a deep dive into your business. So it's a value packed. We'll be looking at what are you currently offering. In my experience, most people could do some up-leveling in terms of what they're offering and what they're charging. So that'll be the first thing we look at. If that's already locked in, then we can dive further into these pain and pleasure island dynamics, how you present, what you bring to the world. And then your signature talk piece is really customized to you. It's one reason I love doing them still. And then at the end, we can explore whether ongoing support, whether a Speaker Venture live event, or one-on-one support would support you or not. If it does not serve you, I'll probably be the very first one to tell you, and we won't even go there, in which case I'm happy that's even been a valuable contribution to you. And if it does serve you, then great. We can work together on an ongoing basis, which I would love. So to book this one-on-one session, again, it's a $500 value, but because you're Jessica's community, I'm making it complimentary. So there's no application process, anything. I'm just making it complimentary to you if you feel called to explore this further. I have a link here. I know some of you have called in, so we can put it in the chat box. Jessica, what do you think is the best way? Should I say the link?
Yeah, you can go ahead and say the link. We can put it in the chat box for the women who are on the video. And what I can do is, this call is recorded. We put it up on the femtalks.org/wisdom call page, and I can put the link there too. So that's a possibility. That way everybody can get it. I won't be able to put it right away, so go ahead and say it for the women who can maybe just jot it down if you can do a little bit,
okay,
something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you probably will want to jot this down because it's a little wordy. And I just put it in the chat box as well. So it's www.calendly.com. So some of you probably know this online scheduler. Calendly, it's spelled CALENDLY.com. So calendly.com, and it's /speaker venture, just like it sounds, /60 minutes, 60 MIN. So again, it's www.calendly.com /speaker venture /60 min, 60 MIN.
Cool. And I'm actually just putting this up on the page that all the speakers and mastermind members have access to. So
okay,
click it there too.
Great. And I'll just say this too. You can email me directly if for some reason you didn't get the link or you just want to connect further. Then my email is jon@speakerventure.com. That's JON. So no H, JON @speakerventure.com. And I will say that if you feel called to explore this work further, connect with me, learn about Speaker Venture and what it can potentially provide you, just do it now. Just book the time. This is not going to inspire you more an hour from now or a week from now. You're never going to be as present to what we've covered as you are right in this moment. So if you feel there is any possibility that is worth exploring, then as far as I'm concerned, honor yourself by booking this time right here and now. And it is first come, first serve. We have sessions as soon as this Thursday. You can choose a time that works for you. And I would really love to connect with you further. And I'll turn it back to you, Jessica.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jon. I'm happy to stay on for a few more minutes if you are, if we want to do any last burning questions. Definitely want to get to another woman or two if there are questions out there while Jon is live with us.
Sure.